Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Primeval Series 3, Episode 1 review. Let's get started. So, the basic plot is after the death of Stephen Hart in Series 2 finale, the team are still grieving from it, um, and they get a call from the Ark to tell them that there's an anomaly in the British Museum. Now, they go to the British Museum where they find a prehistoric crocodile known as Pristicampus is on the loose, and it escapes and goes into central London. The team must stop it, whilst also putting up with Dr. Sarah Page, who works at the museum as an Egyptologist and tour guide and has encountered the creature. And by the end of the episode, she joins the team. That's pretty much the basic plot. I mean, this is Sarah's episode. It's an introduction point for new fans, I think, like with Series 3 being new. And you can really tell, like, with this series, they're trying to push fresh and new and get new people to watch. And it's a great start jumping on point if you don't want to watch the previous two series or you hadn't seen them. So Sarah, you pretty much see this episode through Sarah's eyes, which is nice. I mean, I really like Sarah in this episode. She saves the day. She's the one who gets them to bow to the creature. She's the one who saves Connor's life. She's the one who works out what the sun cage is. It's really great to see that, and just some great scenes of Connor, just like the banter, and at the end with Lester, it's quite funny. And she's basically hired to deal with the myths and legends because she thinks the crocodile Pristicampus is Ammit, an Egyptian god, and Cutter's like, we've been looking at this all wrong. If we can find out what these myths are, because if people have seen the anomalies in the past and they don't know how to explain them, so they just say they're gods or myths and legends. Like, if we can work out when these legends occurred, we can predict when the next anomaly is going to open because of that. And it's a really cool concept, and they kind of promise you at the end of this episode that this is what the series is going to feature, like, be heavily featured upon is the myths and legends, which unfortunately doesn't really transpire. But it would have been great to have had that, and hopefully one day we will. But yeah, so it's Sarah's introduction. She's really good in this episode, really strong, really like her already. Um, Captain Becker's introduction story as well, although he gets nothing to do. He has a few one-liners and a brief scene after the titles with Lester just introducing him to everyone, and like his like introduction is really poor. He just kind of fades into the background. I don't know if they were trying to give off the impression that he's always been there and just kind of forget about him, but it's a shame he doesn't get that much development. It's particularly in this series, but in the next two series he actually gets quite a lot, so it's not too bad. But it would have been better, in my opinion, if this episode, or maybe like the next episode, was like Becca's first story. It's like his first day at work, just to show how mad his life is now. Like he has to fight dinosaurs and all this, but it's not too bad. We also introduced Christine Johnson, who's like a female version of Lester, and she's great. Like her and Lester have some great banter, back and forth, back and forth. Um, and it's revealed that she sent some soldiers to apocalyptic future um, to retrieve an artifact that we know nothing about, and she gets these soldiers to go, and we see it through their head cam. And it's really creepy. Like the future predators return for this, although maybe they shouldn't have returned this soon after being in the episode before, episode 7. But I think it works alright. Like their deaths are really creepy. Like it really makes you scared of the predators again. Like we see everyone died bar him, and he couldn't get the artifact, and she's like, "Well, go and get it. Like we need it. Like you failed your mission." She's a real bitch about it. We don't know if this is good or bad intentions. Like we don't really know anything about this artifact, but you know enough to know that something's going on. I mean, at the end of the episode, you see Helen Cutter actually watched all the soldiers die and did nothing, which is just like what a bitch. And she gets the artifact and moves on into this like bunker with her cleaner clone army. So it's like, ooh, what the hell's going on here? So that's intriguing. Like end to the episode. There's some cool scenes. I mean, like Steven's death's brought up a bit. Like you get some flashbacks. Cutter's feeling guilty about it. Jenny asked him out on a like for something to eat, and it's like the romance that was kind of hinted at in series 2, episode 7, is kind of taken form here. Although it's not a proper romance yet. That's nice to see. Abby and Connor are alright. Abby doesn't really get much to do. She does, but she's kind of just takes the Stephen role of just helping Cutter track the creatures, and she kind of says, "Oh, Stephen would have known what to do." Connor's with Sarah throughout the whole episode at the sun cage, and he's pretty cool for what he does. I mean, he's quite funny. He's like, "Oh, Action Man's coming," referring to Becca, and Sarah pretends that there's a curse because he breaks some artifacts, which is really funny. Um, there's not really much to say about this one. It's like I said, it's just a great starting, like jumping on point. Not much to it, not much meat to it, but it's alright. I mean, oh, the sun cage. That's something we can talk about. Really cool concepts, like the Egyptians trapped the anomaly within magnetite, I think it's called, because they wanted to trap the sun, which they thought was the anomaly. The sun is the anomaly that they thought was a sun. But it's a pretty cool idea. And it means that wherever the sun cage goes, the anomaly goes with it. And I mean, really, the Ark just seized it at the end of the episode, but they don't, so that's a bit dumb. Also, Connor, whilst fighting off a campus that's biting his bum, he hits a light on its head and it electrocutes the anomaly, and for some reason, the anomaly locks for a brief second, then reopens, and that's really weird, and like, what the hell's going on there? So he says, "Oh, I have to work on that later," and we'll be seeing that again, sure, throughout the series. But yeah, this one it's all right. I mean, it's a bit weird. Like I know my friend Ollie Pajak, Mr. Tides 11, he doesn't like the fact at the end they all bow to the creature. I don't mind that. I think it's all right. I think it kind of works on myths and legends, and I really wish they focused more on the myths and legends of this series, but they don't, and it's annoying. But hey ho, what can you do? For me, I'm gonna give this one a 8 out of 10. I was surprised at how much I just enjoyed the fun romp of it all. Although I feel like if they just left it all into the British Museum instead of going to London halfway through, it would have been better. Like just have that night in the museum feel to it. But I like it for what it is. I mean, you get some cool scenes in London. It just shows how much their budget's improved that they can actually go and film in London. But yeah, there's not really much I can say about this one. So. I'm not going to ramble on. I'm not going to repeat myself. So yeah, 8 out of 10. It's a good episode. Great introduction to Sarah. Not so great for Becca, and the creature's pretty cool. That was my review for episode 1. I'll see you for episode 2. Take care.